Well, traders, this is the bigger picture video. As always, I'm starting it with the DAX index and DAX futures daily, and I will go through daily and weekly charts of DAX and of the US indices. For any deeper analysis, however, we would need to go to individual names and to the sectors, and that's some other story. In this video, I will go through indices and some of their futures. So on DAX, we had this here as the week in which we have traded, and the high of the week was a poke above the previous week high, which was last Friday, while the low of the week was a poke below Wednesday low when market bounced in front of daily 50, and that was the unfinished business, which was finished, as we can see on index, on Friday, while futures still didn't test daily 50. This is the not back adjusted chart. As we can see in the previous period, daily 50 was pretty important here because it held the line. It was literally a dynamic bull bear line, below which from here, and that would be like a beginning of April, market spent just 2 trading sessions below. Only 2 closes below daily 50 were in the last few months. Therefore, this still remains important moving average and something to watch. Can DAX push below, or it was saved under quotes on Friday? Because this is here a consolidation below previous all-time high, and DAX is trading pretty near to the all-time high in the so-called tricky territory, where we can get more of the sharp throws up and down, where pretty much daily lows and highs were false breaks below or above previous references. And this week in a daily dose of DAX, we had several reactions from those main zones. Now, when we go to the daily chart and compare DAX with other markets, I will still use blank charts for this. This is S&P, and as we can see here, there was a 3-day balance here leaning on the daily 50. Then on Friday they poked below, but you see this is a green candle, but closed still below daily 50, and that's something to watch. And also this here gap remains unfilled. This is the gap between Monday and Tuesday, and as long now as price is holding below this gap, more downside can come. And if that's the case, then we are watching this area here, which could serve as potential support. And then on the way down, you see this here, and this would be a previous all-time high, which if we now take a look at this chart, this is here in line with halfback of this entire move from March low. You see where the halfback is. So if they lose this as a potential support, then we could get the move all the way down to here. But also think about this. This here part is too weak, and the previous week was shortened due to the Juneteenth, and the next week is also going to be shortened. But the point is here, in these 9 days, we had 6 red days and 3 green days, and despite that, market really didn't go all that far. This is Nasdaq. This is Nasdaq, which tagged to the point daily 50 on Friday, making low of a day there. So you can see by these examples on DAX, S&P and Nasdaq how daily 50 is important, and this market was above it for quite a while. I also spoke about that in the previous public video, that you can gauge how much a market is overbought, or is it overbought at all, by the distance from daily 50. And here that distance was 12%, which is a huge thing, because overbought markets are usually the markets that are like 7 or 8% above daily 50, not really 12. So we got some pullback, but as you can see, market is in the range, and for that it is better to go on a weekly chart, because I think on a weekly chart is even easier to understand how all of these markets are simply consolidating and ranging under their own respective all-time highs. This is DAX. As we can see, two red weeks in a row, but again, not much of a follow-through. There is no upside follow-through, there is no downside follow-through. Here they're just in range, and the same thing we can say about the S&P, and the same thing we can say about Nasdaq. Now, quite a down week here on Nasdaq, and since, as we know, money never sleeps, it went otherwhere. It went to some other stocks, and those stocks could be in Dow Jones, for example, because Dow, you see that this candle looks completely different. It made a green one, it made new all-time high again, and the same goes for Russell. Green candle and new all-time high again. Now, I find that this Dow Jones pretty interesting. Let's go here daily, and this is futures. Dow Jones futures, daily 20, daily 50. You can see how this one is trading completely above these two moving averages, while all the previous markets that we have seen in this video, DAX, S&P and Nasdaq, are trading between 20 and 50, and or around, more likely around daily 50. And when you include, for example, Bollinger Bands here, you see that this, which was on Thursday, this big rejection tail was a tail above the upper end of the Bollinger Bands. Then they went back inside. Now, let's go even higher and just to take a look at the monthly chart, because the month is going to be over in just 2 trading days. And therefore we can take a peek on a monthly chart in advance. This is still Dow Jones futures, but let's observe indices here. So this is DAX, and let's go blank here. This is DAX chart, and this is a logarithmic here one. We can go to regular, and we are going to obviously get the same. This month so far is an inside month, inside the May, and leaning on monthly 20. And this is S&P, also inside month, inside May, and this is Nasdaq, and you can see what the high was, a poke above the previous month high, and inside the remainder is inside May, while this is Dow Jones, which is above the May. And this is Russell, which is above May, also looking the most bullish of all. So this is the bigger picture here. And for the next week, it is important to understand that next week is a shortened trading week due to the Independence Day on 4th of July, which comes on Saturday, and therefore Friday is going to be a non-working day for the US stock market, which always means lack of liquidity for the EU markets as well. And we have already seen that recently with the June 18th, and the same can be on Friday. Those holidays could be used as attempt to push the market higher in the environment of lower liquidity. We shall see about that, because there is really nothing much in the economic calendar regarding the data for the next week. Nothing much on Monday. On Tuesday, we do have some things like German preliminary CPIs, USCB consumer confidence, or job openings. Not really holding my breath about anything of that. Then on Wednesday, the central bankers are going to speak in Portugal. And out of that, I think new Fed Chairman Walsh is the most important one. So he could say something to affect the markets on Wednesday, while due to the holiday, the NFP report is going to be on Thursday as the most important thing scheduled in the economic calendar. And that could actually influence also the price action on Friday on the markets that are actually going to work like DAX. But again, it's going to be in the environment of low volume and low liquidity. So that's about everything. Once again, when we go on weekly chart, we can observe consolidations on DAX, S&P and Nasdaq, and new all-time highs on Russell and Dow. And when we go down to the daily charts, daily 50 still remains as the most important reference, and therefore the eyes are going to be on daily 50 on all of these markets like DAX, S&P and Nasdaq, to see are they going to hold there, or we could get a move lower, in which case we are going to watch those lower references all the way down to daily 200. That would be it. Thanks for watching and have a nice weekend.